Hello there. Welcome to Edureka's session on SEO tutorial. So the agenda for today's session is basically why do you need search engine optimization? What exactly is search engine optimization? Types of SEO. How does search engines work? Tactics and methods. How to optimize keywords as well as titles. Some tools that most digital marketers use and guidelines. So let's get started. My name is Deepa Vasudevan. I'm a marketing professional with more than 20 years in different aspects of marketing, including brand and communication, marketing analytics, product marketing, and digital marketing. My digital marketing and digital media experience spans more than 13 years, and I have worked across SEO, SEM, content marketing, campaign operations, analytics, monetization, and social media. Now, to start with, technically speaking, digital marketing is any marketing activity using electronic devices. However, today, digital marketing is synonymous with the online internet marketing. Let me talk to you a bit about the current global scenario. There is a significant development that's happening right now. COVID-19 is changing consumer behavior and therefore marketing. Wherever consumer behavior has shifted, marketing spends or marketing efforts have adjusted in response. As confinement measures were introduced around the world, out of home, what we normally call as OOH, and cinema advertising have shrank almost instantly. Print advertising has also fallen. Many of you would have noticed that. Meanwhile, in-home media usage has gone up, TV viewership has climbed, but digital consumption has increased even more. Use of social media platforms and streaming services have risen almost everywhere. Gaming has also grown dramatically. Now, marketers have adapted by following consumers, which means prioritizing digital marketing. So, digital marketing is expected to grow in the future as well. And SEO or search engine optimization is one of the most important aspects of digital marketing. Almost all brands, irrespective of the domain or category, need SEO. As a marketer or a digital marketing specialist, one is expected to know, understand, and implement SEO. So let's get started with why do we need SEO? A huge percentage of content, product, and brand discovery originates in search. If you're a brand owner, regardless of what your business offers, your target audience is likely searching for products or services similar to yours on search engines. If you want to attract them to your site, you need search engine optimization. So having good SEO improves the user experience and eventually the website traffic. SEO is a critical source of traffic for websites. Let us search for something today. Let's search for furnitures. Okay, so you see the results page. On the left side, you see maps. You also see local results. Somehow, the search engine has figured out that I am probably looking at buying furniture close to my house, and hence it has shown me local results. Now, on the right side, you would see images, titles, as well as prices and where you can find them. These are ads. These are Google's shopping ads, and they are part of Google Ads program. You come down further, this is where the search result actually starts. The SEO or the search optimized pages start. Now, Google's algorithm has been constantly evolving. Now it captures your location and also at times your intent. So why is SEO important? One, good SEO helps in getting your pages ranked high on a search engine result page, just like what we see here, hometown.in, right? And SEO is organic in nature. Now, the biggest advantage of SEO is that it does not involve paying for the listing on the search result page. The ultimate purpose of achieving high rankings is simple: to attract more traffic to your own site and ideally to convert that traffic into leads and finally into paying customers. When you look at your site statistics or web analytics on a tool like Google Analytics, you can see how and where your traffic is coming from. You would have heard the term organic search. Now, SEO is aimed at increasing your organic search. Now, the other search you would at times hear about is paid search, like the shopping ads you just saw. The other advantage of SEO is that it offers a good user experience. Many of the search algorithm updates focus on making sure that users are directed to sites that not only provide relevant content, but also a great user experience. These include technical factors like mobile friendliness, usability, site speed, etc. Today, these play a particularly important role in rankings than ever before. User experience has a very high impact on conversions and hence can significantly influence your sale as well as revenue in the long run. The third interesting point about SEO or search is that it's easy to measure. One of the biggest advantages is that you can measure virtually every aspect of your result. You can use Google Analytics to monitor your traffic, your referral sources, your conversions, and any other metric that matter to your business. Now, let me just give you an overview of how your search data looks on Google Analytics. So I'm taking you to Google Analytics, and let us look at the traffic and let us look at the channels. Okay, so what we see here, let me take you to a page that has traffic. Okay, so when you look for your traffic sources, you would get a data, something which looks like this. So there is direct traffic which comes directly to your site. They type in the URL and they just land up. Then there is something called organic search. So this is what we are discussing today. Let's go and look at the breakup of this organic search. So it can be Google, it can be Bing. Now, Google Analytics also gives you interesting statistics in terms of the number of users that came in, with how many of them were new, and some of their behavior on the site, like the bounce rate, the time spent, number of pages they consumed, etc. So what exactly is search engine optimization? We see results, we saw the result page, we know that we search every day. So what exactly is search engine optimization? Search engine optimization, or SEO, is a strategy for improving your site's rankings in the search engine results. Google, Bing, etc. are called search engines. The page you just saw now, that is known as a search engine result page, where we searched for furnitures and we saw some results. On the search results page, on an average, about 10% of the clicks happen on the ads and 10% on the next page link that you see at the bottom of the Google page. Now, a good wholesome 30% happens on the first result that pops up. That is why brands and websites are constantly trying to optimize their pages to be amongst the top 3 search results. For most publishers, 70% of their traffic actually comes from search. Now, you will keep hearing of Google quite a lot when we talk about search. That's because about 90% of all searches happen on Google. In addition to this, you would also be using Bing, which comes from Microsoft. Bing is the default search tool for most MS Office desktops and laptops. There's also Yahoo Search, there's Ask.com, there's Dogpile, etc. Now, approximately about 15 to 20% of users use Bing and Yahoo. Now, these numbers add up to more than 100. That's because many users use multiple search engines for their search requirements. Now, as a marketer, we focus on the basics of marketing. That is, to be there where the consumer is. Hence, it's important for businesses to be present on search engine results page. When a new brand comes up, their first task is to have their pages listed on search, have their pages what we call as indexed. Then their objective becomes how to get on to page number 1. Then they try to get on to be amongst the top 3 results. And then their effort is concentrated on remaining amongst the top 3 page results. To just show you how big search is, let me take you to this site called Internet Live Stats. So this is the stats for the day. There's about 4.3 billion internet users as on date today, and there's about 4.5 billion Google searches happened today. That's how big search really is and how critical it is for brands. Now, there are some myths associated with search. Let's look at some of them. One is that optimizing Google is sufficient. No, agreed. Google does have the majority of searches happening today, but there is also Bing, there is also Yahoo search. Normally, as an SEO analyst, one tends to optimize for Google first and then the others. It makes sense to look at your website traffic, understand the current numbers, the volume of search, as well as the growth trends. Look at where they are coming from, and then decide on which search engine to optimize first. Also, many people feel that you can pay and get traffic so as to attain SEO. If your site is optimized for search in terms of on-page, off-page, and technical parameters, you don't really have to pay for it. There's something called black hat SEO, which we will be covering a little later, where many people try to pay and try to get backlinks, etc. Now, this is not really the recommended practice. It might help you in the short term, but it does not help you in the long term. The other myth is that once you do your optimization, you don't have to do anything after that. You're good to go. You don't have to do anything. You just stay back and you just enjoy the fruits of your work. That's not the case, because SEO algorithms are constantly evolving. Now, 5 years back, you didn't see local search results first. For example, if you are trying to buy perfumes, Google didn't tell you where to buy perfumes. Hence, you need to keep yourself updated with the changing logic and ensure that your websites stay updated to the changes that's happening in the search engines. Let's start with the fascinating history of search. Now, the history of search is incomplete if I don't touch a little upon the history of World Wide Web. So, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, many of you would already be knowing, invented the World Wide Web in 1999. Now, Mr. Berners-Lee came from Oxford University, and he was a software engineer at CERN, CERN, the largest particle physics laboratory near Geneva, Switzerland. Scientists came from all over the world to use its accelerators. But then Sir Tim noticed that they were having difficulty sharing information. So by October 90, Tim had written the 3 fundamental technologies that remain the foundation of today's web. 1. HTML or Hypertext Markup Language. 2. URI, Uniform Resource Identifier. It's a kind of address that is unique and used to identify each resource on the web. Today we know it as URL. Third is HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This allows for retrieval of linked resources from the web. Now, 1990 is when the first search engine called Archie came up. It kept an index of file list of all public FTP servers it could find. Excite came from the project Architext, which was started sometime in Feb 93 by a bunch of Stanford undergrad students. Now, they had the idea of using statistical analysis of word relationships to make searching more efficient. Soon, the web's first robot came. In June 93, Matthew Gray introduced the World Wide Web Wanderer. By December 93, there were 3 full-fledged bot-fed search engines on the web: JumpStation, the World Wide Web Worm, and the repository-based software engineering RBSE Spider. JumpStation gathered info about the title and header from the web pages, and the www Worm indexed the titles and the URLs, and the RSB Spider did implement a ranking system. Now, the reason why I'm talking about all this is that today what search engines do learned a lot from all these early developments that happened in the 90s. And in 94, the very famous Jerry Yang and David Filo created the Yahoo directory. And this was a collection of their favorite web pages. And as the number of links grew, they had to reorganize it and make it searchable. Lycos was the next major search development, having been designed at Carnegie Mellon University around July of 94. Lycos went from a catalog of 54,000 documents in July 94 to about 60 million in November 96. And this was much more than any other web search engine of those days. InfoSeek also started out in 94. They really did not bring much innovation to the table, but they tied up with Netscape. If you remember, Netscape was one of the biggest browsers of those days, late 90s, early 2000s, etc. Since Netscape was so popular, InfoSeek got a lot of exposure. 95 also saw LookSmart and AltaVista. AltaVista brought many important features to the web scene, that they were the first to use natural language queries, advanced searching techniques, and they allowed users to add or delete their own URL. They even allowed inbound link checking. Then came Inktomi and Google. They became popular. Inktomi was a leading search engine, and it was even powering MSN search those days. However, they lost out to Google on account of user experience and relevancy, as well as speed of result. Google's history began in 95 when Larry Page met Sergey Brin. In 96, the pair began work on a search engine called Backrub. One of the interesting things that Backrub utilized was backlinks. It ranked pages using citation notation. That is, if another website B mentions a website A, it would be a vote for website A. The name Backrub comes from the algorithm-generated ranking for how many backlinks a page has. This engine worked on a Stanford servers for more than a year before it eventually clogged up the bandwidth and was forced to move. Google.com was registered on September 1997. A little bit about MSN search. Now, MSN relied on something called Overture, LookSmart, as well as Inktomi until Google proved their backlinks mode. MSN search was replaced with Windows Live Search, and later Live Search got rebranded as Bing in 2009. So let's look at the types of SEO. Now, SEO can be white hat SEO, black hat SEO, or gray hat SEO. White hat SEO refers to the most legitimate practices adhered to by marketers to gain higher rankings in the search engine's results page. The white SEO practices strictly abide by guidelines for SEO published by search engines like Google. The practices listed under the white hat SEO techniques may be slow in giving you results, but the results last for a longer duration. White hat SEO activities include having a secure HTTPS site, keeping a simple URL structure, tagging your site for child-directed treatment, making sure your site is compatible with different types of browsers, making sure you have a good, clean HTML code, and avoiding creation of duplicate content, and also making sure that your links are crawlable by search engines. Black hat SEO includes practices that aim at finding weaknesses and loopholes in Google's algorithm in order to rank higher in the search engine results pages. These practices are against the guidelines proposed by Google and overall Google's algorithms. Now, the most common black hat SEO techniques include spam links, keyword stuffing, cloaking, hidden text and links. These practices aim at misleading the users and redirecting to the site they don't need. Let me briefly explain these techniques further. Spam links are links between pages that are present for reasons other than relevant content or relevant action. Keyword stuffing refers to the practice of loading a web page with keywords or numbers. Now let me give you a Google example, okay? Google says Keyword stuffing is repeating the same words or phrases so that it often sounds unnatural. Like for example, we sell custom cigar humidors. Our custom cigar humidors are handmade. If you're thinking of buying a custom cigar humidor, please contact our custom cigar humidor specialist at custom.cigar.humidors@example.com. Okay. Now the phrase custom cigar humidors is used repetitively and it sounds quite unnatural and in fact funny. Let's look at cloaking. Cloaking is basically displaying different versions of the same page to humans and search engine bots. Hidden text and hidden link. Examples would be something like using white text on a white background, locating text behind an image, setting font sizes to 0, etc. Now, some of the other practices that one should be careful with are automatically generated content. For example, text that makes no sense to the reader, but which may contain search keywords. Something called doorway pages. Doorway pages are basically pages which bait users with a well-optimized high-ranking page, but then quickly and automatically it will redirect you to unrelated pages. Though there may be some short-term success through increased traffic to your site, Google algorithms are getting more and more sophisticated and can penalize your search, resulting in devastating effects on your rankings and traffic. Your website can get demoted or de-indexed from Google and other search engines. Now, with hundreds of millions of users searching on Google every day, do you really think your website can afford to be de-indexed? Absolutely. We saw that about 70% of traffic for many publishers come from search. In many cases, it's even higher than that. A good 90% at times, people discover content through search. All right, let's look at gray hat SEO. Apart from black hat SEO and white hat SEO, there exists gray hat SEO. Now, these include practice of tactics or techniques which remain ill-defined by published material coming from Google. Now, they might not contravene the guideline in letter, but definitely in spirit. Some examples: excessive internal links, placing more internal links onto a page than needed in order to increase the likelihood of users visiting them. Link exchange, aggressive link building between two different sites for the sake of building backlinks. You also need to be careful with affiliate programs. Many of us, if we choose a career in marketing, might be doing affiliate marketing. You need to be careful with it, since pages with product affiliate links on which the product descriptions and reviews are copied directly from original merchant without your adding any content or value, it's not rated very well by SEOs. You need to add value or original content onto those pages. Spam in social media, that's again a kind of gray hat SEO that many people do. Fabricating news, since many news sites are eager for content, creating fake news and trying to share them to get traffic to your site, that's again a gray hat practice. There's also something like buying positive reviews, buying positive customer reviews in exchange for reward. It could be money, it could be products, or even services. And then there is something called domain grabbing, where one buys expired high authority domains and tries to build backlinks from them. Many times you would have experienced what we call as cyber squatting, which is registering a domain under the name of a non-brand without belonging to that brand for the purpose of either stealing their traffic or reselling the domain to them at a premium later on. The other way of classifying SEO is on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and technical SEO. On-page SEO consists of activities that are carried out on the page that is to be published. Simply put, the tasks that help optimize a given page such that it appears higher on a search engine result page. The on-page SEO activities primarily include infusing keywords in the right quantity and in the order of priority, inserting internal links, meta tags, meta description, building a customized URL structure, taking care of image SEO like inserting alt tags, and most importantly, providing the users with good quality content. Let me take you to a search result. Okay. And let me show you what each of these results constituents mean. So what you see here, right? This is basically the title. Now, your title is the first and many a times the only part of your search result that people read. Titles need to be simple and they need to be short. What you see above it basically is the URL. You might want to apply the same principles for your URL as you did for your title tag. Make sure your URLs are relevant and short, but still provide enough information to adequately display when the page is what the page is about. Sometimes you will often find timestamps under this, maybe for blogs, etc. Blogs, news articles. This reflects the freshness of content. Let me just show you another search where we can get some blog results. How to assemble a table, maybe. Yeah, right here you see the date stamp. So this basically tells how recent the article is. Make sure you refresh your content regularly to avoid people mistaking your content as old. Okay, now what you see here, what I have highlighted, is basically what we call as the snippet. Now the snippet is the description of the page and is usually limited to about 156 characters. While the snippet may be the meta description that you wrote, sometimes Google sources the snippet from contextual information which is available on your page. This allows Google to tailor the snippet to each unique search query and provide relevant information pertaining to that search. One thing you need to keep in mind is that they don't really make up words or sentences. They pull out whatever is there on your page. So it's not only important to write an effective meta description, but also incorporate easy to digest chunks of information throughout your page so that Google or any other search engine can identify, source, and display it. Then there is something called rich snippets. Rich snippets normally provide additional information like a photograph or a star rating. Rich snippets are more visually pleasing and offer a better jumping off point, and hence they often have a higher click-through rates. You can increase your chances of getting a rich snippet by adding what we call as the structured data onto your site. Let me try searching for laddu. Yeah, laddu recipes. Okay. Now let's look at this recipe from, or let's look at this recipe. Or no, not that, the one below it maybe. Yes, indeed. So if you look at this recipe, you will see the image. You will also see the rating. You also see the time taken to make it, as well as nutritional information, calorie information, etc. Now, this is what is known as a rich snippet. You can also get rich snippets at the top of your page like this, like what you see here. Now, these are known as featured snippets. The other interesting thing on a search result page, which you might have noticed at times, is searches related to. This section is a great place to source other keywords to include in your content. Now, the tip is to use these keywords sparingly and sprinkle them across your content, and consider incorporating a few of them in your headings. Coming back to the furniture result that we saw, you see something here. These are called site links. The links shown below the result. And these are meant to help users to navigate your site. Google analyzes the link structure of your site to find shortcuts that will save users time and allow them to quickly find the information they are looking for. Coming to off-page SEO. Off-page SEO refers to activities that are performed on a page after it goes live on the web. These activities include sharing the post, commenting on the post to build engagement, liking the post, answering queries. Off-page SEO techniques help to strengthen the influence and relationship your website has with other websites. These techniques build a website's reputation and authority. These factors help search engines see that a website is an ideal search result because it is from a reputable, reliable, trusted source, which is quoted or linked by other good quality trusted sources. Technical SEO. The SEO activities included in this category relate to site speed, like optimizing your JavaScripts, your images, how your ad loads in case you are a publisher site like Times of India. It also includes things like mobile friendliness. Is the layout of your page suitable for mobile or handheld devices? As well as things like indexing, crawlability, site architecture, structured data, and security. So how exactly does search engines work? Search engines exist to discover, understand, and organize the internet's content in order to offer the most relevant results to the questions searchers are asking. To show up in search results, your content needs to be first visible to the search engine. It's arguably the most important piece of SEO puzzle. If your site can't be found, there's no way you will ever show up in the SER piece or search engine results page. Now, search engines have three primary functions. Crawling. This is basically scouring the internet for content, looking over the code and the content for each URL they find. Indexing. Store and organize the content found during the crawling process. Once a page is in the index, it's in the running to be displayed as a result to any relevant queries. Third is ranking. Ranking basically provides the pieces of content that will best answer a searcher's query, which means that results are ordered by the most relevant ones first to the least relevant ones last. Let's explore each of these a little further. So what is crawling? Crawling is the discovery process in which search engines send out a team of robots, also known as crawlers or spiders, to find out new and updated content. Now, let me talk to you a bit about robots, or as we call them, bots. An internet bot is nothing but a software application that runs automated tasks over the internet. Tasks run by bots are typically simple and they are performed at a much higher rate compared to human internet activity. So, Googlebot is only a computer program which is written by Google that crawls the web and adds pages to its index. Googlebot crawls web pages via links or hyperlinks. It finds and reads new and updated content and suggests what should be added to the index. Googlebot also uses the sitemaps and databases of links discovered during previous crawls to determine where to go next. Whenever the crawler finds new links on a site, it adds them to the list of pages to visit next. If Googlebot finds changes in the links or broken links, it will take a note and then it will update the index accordingly. The program determines how often it will crawl pages. To make sure Googlebot can correctly index your site, you need to check your site's crawlability. If your site is available to crawlers, they come around often and they find out what's new. The next step is indexing. So how exactly does indexing work? After finding a page, the bot fetches or renders the page in the way your browser does. That means the bot sees what you see, including images, videos, other dynamic page content, etc. The bot then organizes this content into categories, including images, CSS, HTML, text and keywords, etc. Now, this process actually allows the crawler to what we call understand what's on the page. And this is a necessary precursor to deciding for which keyword searches the page is relevant. Now, the search engines then store this information in an index. An index is a giant database with a catalog entry for every word seen on every web page indexed. Google's index is called the caffeine index. And to give you an idea of how big it is, it takes up around 100 million gigabytes and fills server farms, which is basically thousands of computers that never get turned off, and they are located across the globe. Let's explore ranking. In the final step, search engines sort through indexed information and return the right results for each query. They do that with search algorithms. Algorithms are rules or mathematical models that analyze what a searcher is looking for and which results best answer the query. Algorithms use numerous factors to define the quality of the pages in their index. Many of the ranking factors used in these algorithms use popularity of a piece of content and even qualitative experiences that users would have on the page. Other factors would include something like backlink quality, mobile friendliness, how recent or how fresh your content is, engagement that's happening on the page, as well as page speed. So what really happens when search is performed? Now that we have understood there are three steps in the process that search engines use, let us just walk through how search engines answer queries from the moment you type a term in the search bar. Step one is search engines parse intent. To return relevant results, search engines have to understand the search intent behind a term. They use sophisticated language models to do that, breaking down your query into chunks of keywords and parsing. For example, if Google's synonym system allows the search engine to recognize when groups of words mean the same thing. Let us just search for floral parasols. Okay. Now you see a lot of results which have got umbrella, etc., etc. So the search engine has figured out that umbrella is a synonym for parasol. Search engines also use keywords to understand broad categories of search intent. Now, if I were to type parasols online, it will start throwing where I can buy, because it has kind of figured out my intent behind the phrase floral parasols online. Search engines also use freshness algorithms to understand search intent. The algorithms identify trending keywords and return newer pages. You would have noticed that during elections, the results are radically different from what you see during non-election times. Step 2 is where search engines match pages to query intent. Once the search engine understands the kind of result you want to see, it needs to match the pages. Factors which help in matching these pages include the title of the page, the content, that is the type of content, as well as the quality of the site, freshness, the popularity, as well as language of the query. Now, step 3 is where the search engines apply localized factors. So that could mean location. Some searches like restaurants near me are obviously location dependent, but you would have noticed that at times, if you search for paneer tikka masala from Bombay, the results will be very different from what your friend gets for searching paneer tikka masala in Delhi. The localized factors also include things like search settings, whether you have a preferred language or you have opted for something called safe search, which filters out content. It also includes factors like search history. Now, if you search for Mumbai hotel, you will see results for hotels in Bombay. And if you click on something like Hotel Mumbai, the movie, and then you come back and search again, you will start seeing more of the movie results. All right, moving on, let us look at some of the tactics and methods. All right, step 1, ensure good user experience. That would mean clear navigation and ease of use. Simple steps: keep fewer number of clicks so that users can reach their destinations faster. Layout should be intuitive. The flow or transition of pages should be intuitive, and the visual design should be appealing. Action buttons should be located in the right places, as well as it should be easy to work with, particularly in the case of mobile sites. Content creation. Ensure there is proper content strategy in place. There should be a content calendar and schedule in place with the agility to meet topical as well as other unplanned events. Content should be relevant and useful to the visitor, and it should add value to him or her. Content can be in the form of text articles, infographics, images and photos, videos, podcasts, webinars, white papers, PDFs, etc. Keyword research is a critical component of SEO. Content marketing. Content marketing involves creation as well as dissemination of information which is valuable and relevant so as to acquire new customers, engage with existing customers, and prevent churn. The ultimate aim is to increase the proportion of engaged customers and thereby help in increasing your revenues. Create backlinks. Backlinks get created when you have a good quality content. For example, if you have an amazing site on cricket history, and when BBC or Times of India writes an article on cricket and they link it back to your site, these are backlinks. Backlinks are also created when your page is linked up or quoted in by social media users. Make sure you disseminate your stories or content out there. Let me give you an example of what I recently came across. I came across an article about a dog. This dog is peculiar and cute because every time his owner drops something on the floor, the dog picks it up, or things like paper, towel, books, etc. The dog picks it up and he hands it back to the owner. Now, I saw this on a news site, but eventually then I clicked on the link and landed up on the Instagram page and started following the dog's handle. Now, look at the process that has happened. One, there was a very good content, in this case, the video of the dog. Two, there was dissemination of the content, which was by posting on Instagram. And three was optimizing the Instagram content. Maybe he might have used good hashtags, etc., so that it got discovered probably by a journalist who works for a news site. And once the journalist published the story on his website, more and more people discovered it and came back to the original Instagram story. So that's how backlinks add credibility and bring traffic to your site. It can be a site, it can be your Insta page, it can also be your Twitter handle. Let's talk a bit more about how to optimize our keywords. Select your domain and target the most popular keywords. For example, if you have a business of home decor products, ideally, you should choose a domain name users can easily relate to and what reflects your business. Let me take the example of Home Center. Home Center is a home furnishing retailer. The brand reflects it as well as the domain. If you see the domain, it says homecenter.in. The domain also reflects the product that it sells. Now let us look at a particular category within Home Center, furniture. Now check out the URL. Now the URL reflects what the product is there on that particular page. Write effective content based on keyword research. Now there are tools like Google Keyword Planner, which helps to identify keywords based on actual search stats. Let's assume that I'm writing an article on home decor, probably for users, and I'm going to write about living room decor. So I'm a bit confused as to what are the words I need to use. Should I use something like wall art or should I use paintings? So what I'm going to do now is let's use Google's Keyword Planner and decide on what to use. So here are the words that I am looking for. I'm looking for wall art, paintings, art, probably maybe wall hangings, and let us see what the results are. Now, as you can see, I have got all these keywords here. Okay. I also have the average monthly search that happens. And it also tells me how the competition fares. Okay, so these were our keywords, and we see the, let me just show you. We see the monthly searches and we also see competition. So ideally, I should be looking at high volume and I should be looking at high volume and low competition. So these are the keywords that I will target first. I hope you got an idea of how to use keywords and how to optimize your page. So I can also use Google search result the way we saw it last time, where at the bottom of the page, I get to see the related search queries that people use. I can also use something called Google Trends. In addition to this, we can also use the search console that webmasters have in Google Webmasters. Now, keywords can be of three types. They can be generic, or they can be broad match, or they can be long-tailed. Now, generic keywords are just like what their name says. They are generic in nature. Now, the advantage is they are high on volume, but at times they are also high on competition. They are at times high on cost. And if you are a new entrant, the probability to rank on page 1 is fairly low. Now, there's something called broad match keywords. The broad match keywords are much more detailed and specific than generic keywords. So we know that a user who makes a search kind of knows where or what she is looking for. These keywords are relatively easier to rank. Long tail keywords are the most specific set of keywords that leave absolutely little scope for guesswork. One thing the marketer can be sure of while using long tail keywords is that the user is already aware of what he or she is searching and is looking for some specific results. This also means that the probability of making a sale is much higher. Now, long tail keywords, the search volumes are low, but conversion probabilities are much higher. Also, competition is much lower. Let me show you some example using the same Decker example that we used. I'm taking you to Google Trends. So basically, Google Trends will help you to search for terms, words, and allow you to compare across periods of time. Let me search for decor, as in home decor. Okay, we can check for different geographies. Let me check for India. And you can also change the time period that you want to check. So let us look at the results. So this is basically the result for decor. Now let us look at something which is a little bit more specific. Let us look at curtains. Maybe even something still more specific like window curtains. And let's see how the results look like. So what you see in blue is decor, which is basically a generic keyword. What you see in red is curtain, which is a broad match keyword, and window curtain, which is very specific and hence a long tail keyword. Now the volumes, as you can see, is much lower for window curtains. You can also use Google Trends to look at where your traffic is coming from. So you can look at for each word. So the blue map is actually for your decor, the red one for your curtain, and the yellow one for your window curtain. You can also use Google Trends to look at the rising keywords as well as the top related keywords. So this is how you can use Google Trends for your keyword research. So when you do keyword research, you need to start with questions like, what is my product? What are the main and the supporting topics? Should I target multiple keywords on a single page, or should I split them into separate pages? What kind of content do users expect when they are searching for each phrase? And where does each phrase fall into my visitor's journey? Is it about creating awareness or interest or desire or to initiate an action? Now, this is your typical AIDA model that we see in marketing. Also, add title tags, links, URL, and meta description. Make sure your page has proper and relevant title tags, suitable meta description, and links. So let's talk about title optimization. A well-written title holds the power to capture the attention of the user, make him or her click and visit your website. Title optimization is a critical part of what we call as the on-page optimization. Now let's go back and look at the wall art result that we were trying to check. Let's search for wall art. So you see a couple of ads here, which are shopping ads. Then you see some image results. And then here is where your SEO optimized or search engine optimized results start coming from. So let us look at the title. Look at this title out here. All right. Also look at the snippet out here. All right. So this is what you see on a search result page. Let me actually take you to the page. I'm clicking on it and taking you to the result page. So this is the page which got indexed and displayed by Google. I'm going and checking the page source of this particular page. Okay, here we are. Now look at this, what you see on the page source. Now, this is exactly what you saw on the Google result page. All right, check this out, description. This is exactly what you saw here. Let me also show you the keywords. Look at the keyword that the SEO manager or the SEO analyst at Pepperfry used, wall art. All right. Let me also show you an image. Okay. So this is an image. Let's click and see what that image is. All right. And look at the alt tag of that image. Metal wall art, right? So this is how search engines capture information that is there on your page and use it to display the results. So how do we optimize the titles? Keep an eye on the length of your title. Keep it short and relevant while still providing enough information to give to the reader and tell him what the page is all about. Keep in mind that the maximum length for a title tag is about 70 characters. What happens when the title length is more than 70 characters? So let's explore what happens when title tag is more than 70 characters. Do you see this result? So your title gets truncated and the remaining part of your title gets replaced by 3 dots. So that's what happens when your title tag is more than 70 characters. Always have unique titles. Do not copy from competition. It doesn't give you any leverage. And your competition will be above you in terms of placement. Plan your keywords. Use the critical keywords that you're focusing on. It helps in SEO if your title has a strong indication of what your page is about. Branding. Try to include your brand name in the title. It's a good idea to have the name of your brand on the title, as any search about your brand will result in this page getting displayed. Look at this title again. There's the brand. There is the URL which shows what it is about. And there is a well-described title, as well as it is within the character limit. Now let us explore some of the SEO tools that marketers like me keep using. So there is KW Finder, there is Moz, Rank Tracker, Search Console, Spider SEO, Google Ads. So we just used Google Ads Keyword Planner to see how to do keyword research. And this is Google Trends. Now, many of these tools like Moz, Screaming Frog, or the Spider, WooRank, Ahrefs, SEMrush, Web SEO, Rank Tracker, etc. These are used for one, SEO, as well as SEO audit of your own website. So that means it helps you to monitor backlinks, broken links, as well as 4.0 errors, etc. Identifying duplicate content, analyzing page titles and meta description, keyword research, and also to get insights on page optimization. These tools also help you to understand competition. What are the backlinks that's coming to their site? How are they performing on search? What are the keywords that's leading traffic to these competition sites? Now, these tools help to identify the issues as well as they come with recommendations on how to fix it. While many of these are paid tools, they also come with a free version or a free trial period. Just as we saw with Google Ads Keyword Planner, you can use KW Finder, Ubersuggest, Google Webmaster Search Console, Google Trends, basically to understand keywords, volume and competitiveness, keyword groups, even look for related keywords and even negative keywords. That brings us to the last section, which is the guidelines. Let us look at some of the suggested guidelines for good SEO implementation. Content and keyword. Pay close attention to your content strategy. Topics, areas of interest, related topics, future topics, etc. Plan your publishing activities. Have a content calendar. Be ready to manage eventualities. Do a thorough research on keywords. Understand what are the generic, broad match, and long-tailed keywords. Have a content plan around them. Make sure your article or your page is relevant to a specific topic. It can be a product, it can be a single subject, etc. And include keywords in your title tag, your URL, your image alt text, and within your entire content, the content body. Make sure you provide unique content about a given subject. Make sure there are no duplicates of your own page, and constantly keep reviewing your content performance. Spend time on creating suitable description which is useful to the user. Write an introduction to the topic. Many a times, these introductions become part of the snippets that Google picks up for SERP. Make use of header tags. Header tags give more information to search boards in terms of the content of the page and the keywords. You will have header tags from H1 to H6, which you can use for describing what your page is about. Add images and optimize your image for SEO. Remember to include alt tags. Your images can appear on Google image search results and can lead a user to your website. Create internal links. Show the search engine bot how deep your content repository is. Direct the bot to visit all the pages you have as part of your website. If it's a product, link back to the category page or even link back to the subcategory page if it's applicable. Link back to your home page. Normally you have a logo at the top of your page, maybe on the left side, maybe on the right side, which is used for linking back to your home page. Readability and navigation should be good. Fonts, visual design of the page, usability parameters, call to action buttons, fewer click to destination, grammar and syntax, fact and stats should be correct, use appropriate keywords, etc. Now, in addition to this, ensure technical and performance parameters are met, which would include page speed, low LCP or the largest contentful paint. Make sure your site is mobile friendly. Identify crawl errors. A crawl error means that Google has trouble viewing a page on your site. Fix broken links. Find out how Google views your page and secure your site with HTTPS. So hope you had fun today and you got a broad overview of what search is, what search engines are, and how to optimize for search.